Call this meeting of the Prattville Planning Commission to order. Madam Secretary, will you please call roll?
Here.
Here.
Vice Chair Gardner, Chief Johnson,
Here.
Ms. Carpenter, Mr. Hyman, Mr. McAuley, and Mr. Nelson.
Here.
All right, we received the minutes from the April 21st meeting. Does anybody have anything that needs to be changed on those, or accept them as read, as we have them?
I think everything's in order.
All right, we have a motion to.
I'm so moved. Yes, sir.
It's motion first and second, all approving the minutes. All right, they are approved. We have no old business, we do have new business. What is our new business today? Could you please read that in? Do you mind, Mr. Dallas?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Let me get caught up.
All right, on number 1.
Resolution sketch plan Birdsong plat, May 19, 2016, whereas the Togga County Habitat for Humanity has presented a sketch plan of Birdsong Plat 1 for consideration by the Planning Commission, and whereas the proposed development is located inside the city limits on the southeast corner of Lower Kingston Road and Birdsong Road intersection, and whereas the required city department heads have reviewed and commented on the proposed sketch plan, now therefore be it resolved that the City of Prattville Planning Commission hereby gives its favorable review of the revised sketch plan of Birdsong Plat 1. I so move.
Second.
Moved in a second. All right. Would you like to let him speak, or you want to come on up?
Good afternoon. I'm James Monk with Alabama Land Surveyors, and we're here today seeking approval, or at least trying to get some guidance on what can be done here for this plat. It's at the intersection of Lower Kingston and Birdsong. Birdsong is a private drive that we have learned after this was kind of put together. So we know there's going to be some shifting and possibly a loss of a lot. While doing this, we discovered that there's a water line and sanitary in the road as it stands today. So there's going to have to be some easement work just after the fact, because there's no easements now recorded that I could find that pertain to this fire hydrant and water valve. And the water line itself runs about 3 feet off the edge of pavement, the entire length from this fire hydrant at Lot 5. So, several things in play here that's, I guess, over and above finding out that it's a private drive versus already a dedicated roadway.
Is there any question?
What? I have one.
Go, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Can you explain to me the ramifications of the private drive compared to the public drive?
Yes, it appears back, and I'm not sure the time frame, but from what I could gather from the county, this road was paved either for convenience of the citizens, or at some point they were going to adopt it. It was never adopted, paved one time and then abandoned. So ramifications as far as how we're concerned is, right now the property line runs the center of that drive as how is originally deeded. So we haven't moved any lines. All we did is kind of show some divisions. So the way it's recorded now, the property straddles the line, then the road, as you can see, gets off into the property and then kind of skirts it again. In order for us to dedicate it, a 50-foot right-of-way is going to have to be created and brought up to standards of today. So of course we would lose, some property and a lot or two, unless there was some other players that wanted to get involved and see it paved. And seems like most of that out there is family, and I just don't know that they're wanting to spend the dollars to pave and dedicate a road that they can now use at no cost.
Mm-hmm.
Because while it is, private, it's not in horrible shape. It has some potholes and some coal patch, and but it's not something that's detrimental to their use. So I don't think it affects adjacent owners as much as it affects this property, because this property shares most of the road's use. Most of the road is on this property.
Okay. And there's no issue with giving the easement to, or are you wanting the city to pave it, or are you wanting we're just gonna go with it out it being paved, or what's the whole,
Well,
is there an issue there?
I don't think that anybody's looking for the city to pave, this. What we're looking for is some guidance from the city as to how we could shorten the length of that pavement and still have usable land space. And then if we're even approved, how do we connect it to this private part? There's just,
All right.
there's several things in play here that maybe Joel could better help with.
Well, we'll ask Joel those and see if we can't get
Sure.
something going there. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Joel, what you have to say? Or how can you guide us?
Let's look at what's taking place on this piece of property. We're starting out with a. You don't mind. I'm good. We've got a 1.3 acre, 1.34 acre parcel here that, as Mr. Monk described, is on the corner of Lower Kingston and Birdsong. Birdsong, as he also described, is a private street or a private driveway, and the city subdivision regulations require that new lots be front a 50-foot right-of-way street. Now, there have been some variances granted in the past, but we've always required that the street be public and that it be improved. So these limitations have been explained to the Habitat members that are in charge of the land, platting the land and trying to acquire sites for new houses. Just to describe what we've got lots 1 and 2 that are proposed here. This is an R3 zoning. Let me back up. We have all of these lots meet the R3 zoning. All of these lots would be plattable if they had access to a public street. In fact, if Birdsong and Seaman Drive are public streets, this would be a very simple plat. Right now we have 2 lots that are proposed, 1 and 2, that are eligible for platting today. They have access to Upper Kingston. They also have access on Upper Kingston to city sewer, to public water. So in the end this afternoon we're going to say that it's permissible under the regulations to go ahead and authorize a platting of lots 1 and 2. Now when we start talking about 3, 4, and 5, their access is off of Birdsong or Seaman Street, both of which are, as we described, private drives. There has been some discussion with Habitat about how they can resolve this, how they might look at the adjacent property here to the north, to the northwest, and see if it's possible to create enough right-of-way to put that 50-foot wide as required. And that would, I think we could get away almost with creating 2 lots off of that new public street. But that would be a minimum that would be required.
Which new public street are you specifically talking about?
Well, what we would be looking at is how do we make Birdsong, at least Birdsong, a public street. I have to tell you, I think the hurdle to make Seaman Street a public street is pretty high. It's I would say 12 to 15 feet wide now as far as pavement. It has ditches that run down both sides, and you're looking at having to acquire property from established lots to create that. On this Birdsong section, you're really talking about dealing with one property owner on a lot where an old house has been torn down in the last decade. So it's vacant. It's not in productive use for the owner. It seems like there's some possibilities there. And I believe we could probably reconfigure lot 3. It's presented as 78 feet wide. It could be shortened up under R3 and then provide more frontage for this lot. And we could probably get both of those lots in.
So instead of 3, you just have 2 back there, and they'd lose a lot, but
And we're speculating a good bit here. As far as the sketch plan is concerned, for today's purposes, we really just need to look at lots 1 and 2 as being something you can approve and move forward with a preliminary and final plat. They would just have to make a simple tie-in to sewer and water. We also need to look at, in the larger parcel, we need to look at drainage a little bit. We'd ask them to do that at preliminary plat. But the 2 lots that front Lower Kingston should have no problem.
okay, so are you advising to approve lots 1 and 2 and let them come back with something once they possibly acquire or speak to the adjacent landowners for the additional 2 lots or 3 lots as they are there?
Yes, sir. I'm advising that lots 1 and 2 may be platted and without any trouble. They meet city regulations. Lots 3, 4, and 5 are going to require some adjustment and likely acquisition of property to construct a road to provide access.
Okay.
So as far as approval for a sketch plan, again, the sketch plan is non-binding. It's pretty much advisory on y'all's part to the applicant. You can include as much or as little as you want to in the resolution. At a minimum, though, I would state if you're willing to approve lots 1 and 2, make sure that's in the resolution.
Okay.
And at that point, they can start work on a preliminary and final, which we could do in both in the same meeting.
All right. Well, any comments, questions, or suggestion for an alternate resolution? Yes, sir.
I think the city and everybody would be best served if lots 1 and 2 are approved and come back later for the.
Are y'all okay with that?
We would love to develop lots 1 and 2.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'd like to start at fall if everyone wants to build at one home. Really 1 home a year is what we do.
Absolutely. Okay.
It should not be a problem.
Well, we can definitely work that out then. All right. What do you want us to amend the resolution for lots 1 and 2? How do we need to word that?
Yes, sir. At a minimum, if you could just restate the be it resolved section or amend it to state that this approval is only for proposed lots 1 and 2.
Okay. Does that work, or do we need a resolution for that effect?
I'll make a motion
Make a motion.
to approve lots 1 and 2.
All right. Is there a motion? Second. All approve of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like sign. All right. Now that we have the amended sketch plan, now we vote on the amended sketch plan. Is that correct? Amended motion. All in favor of the amended motion, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like sign. We are finished with that. Is there anything else miscellaneous that you would like us to take care of today, sir? Or Tom? Meeting is adjourned.